Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, I know, Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Do you know that band that they're called, there's a shoegaze band called Lacing?
I've heard of them, yeah. I
Oh.
think my friend, or I knew a guy that played in that band. I think his name was Robert.
Anyways, I became friends with them on Instagram recently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Have you listened to their music?
Yeah, I've listened to it for a while, and then like a lot of bands that came through Nashville were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Chattanooga next. We're playing with Lacing. You guys should be friends." Like 3 or 4 bands have said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of them, and I probably know 1 or 2 of the guys I worked with at this place called Mojo Burrito in Chattanooga.
Have that here, right?
They don't have it here.
Oh, okay.
They just have Baja Burrito and all that.
Okay.
This is the Nashville artist. My name is Jordan. Today
Oh, is it recording?
I have Travis Trevisan.
It is?
It is.
Oh, I didn't see you press the play.
That's good.
What's up? Yeah.
Well,
Can you make sure it's recording? I don't want to talk for 45 minutes. It's not going. Oh, yeah, it's going. All right, cool.
it's going. There's the proof.
All right.
Okay. So, tell me, you're from San Diego, right?
Yeah, I'm from the North County. I was raised in a town called Escondido,
Okay.
California. It's like a suburb of San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
What got you into music, or how old were you when you started playing music?
Well, my mom's a piano teacher, so there's always piano music in the house. Like, as a kid, she would play, The Wind Beneath My Wings on the piano.
Okay, cool.
And then my dad always had records. Some of my earliest memories is just like listening to like the Moody Blues and like Neil Young with my dad. So I guess music was like always in my house.
Awesome.
And my parents would always sing. When I got upset as a child, I wanted something, my dad would sing this song, "You Can't Always Get What You Want." And I thought he wrote it. And then like later on in life, I found out it was
Rolling Stones.
the Rolling Stones. Yeah, I was so bummed. I thought my dad wrote this really cool song, but it was just, he was ripping off the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah. Who are some of your heroes as far as music, or like what initially got you into guitar playing?
I think initially it was, you know that scene on Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Where like he plays Johnny B. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like the first scene that was like, oh yeah, guitar's cool. And then, so in high school, when I was about 14 or 15, my friends had this band. It was kind of like Smashing Pumpkins, like Collective Soul-y kind of band, like alternative. And they would practice almost every day at their house. And like me and a couple other kids, because there's nothing to do, would just go there and like watch them practice.
Yeah.
So, and then go to their shows. So that kind of, I think that really got me into music. Like, oh, people can have like bands and stuff.
How old were you then?
Like 14 or 15.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I guess I started playing the saxophone in 6th grade. So I learned music through the saxophone. And then, so I already had like a basis for music, and then would just sort of watch my friends' band play and try to figure out what they're playing, because they had like a guitar laying around, and then after their practice I'd be like, hey, you played this, like this chord, like what's that, just ask questions and figure it out till I got my own guitar when I was like 15, just a cheap classical.
What were they called? That band?
That band was called 2 Acre Lot.
Oh, was it on a 2 acre lot?
No, but we would like walk to Vons. Well, in California, they don't have Kroger. It's called Vons or Safeway now. And there'd always be like we'd occasionally see like a sign that said 2 Acre Lot for sale. We'd grab it, and then that would be their sign for their band. I think that's how they got the name.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you go to college in San Diego? Or
Yeah, I went to UCSD.
University of South California?
Yeah,
Southern California?
it's like UCLA, but in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you study there?
I studied visual art.
Any cool projects or anything?
I just built like websites, I don't know, like art projects. I don't really have them anymore because it like burned them onto a CD and like the computer's all old. But
Right.
I mean, that gave me a basis for art. Like you probably follow I have like art Instagram.
Yeah.
So I've done like all the layout for Tape Deck Mountain and other bands I've been in, other bands. So that kind of gave me a basis for design and sort of like concepts of art.
Right.
You know, I produce visual art by myself, you know, outside of music, so yeah.
What is the or Instagram handle for your visual art?
It's just my name, Travis Trevisan.
Okay.
Yeah.
At Travis Trevisan?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you leave San Diego or move here?
That's kind of a long story because I like lived in Austin and I lived in New York before I moved here. So when I was doing Tape Deck Mountain in San Diego, the drummer quit. So there's only like 5 good drummers in San Diego, or that's what I felt like at the time. So I was kind of burned out. On San Diego, it's kind of like a small scene, so I wanted to try something new. Probably should have moved to LA or something, but when you grow up in San Diego, you kind of hate LA, you know, like we would play shows in LA and you spend like half your time just getting there with traffic and stuff. So I moved to Austin for a year and then wasn't working out there, so I moved to New York for almost 4 years and then I moved here and I've been here for a little over 5 years.
And you were in New York for 1 year?
No, I was in Austin for 1 year.
And then New York for how long?
3.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you like it there?
New York is cool. It's just really expensive. Whatever genre you're into, there's other people doing that. There's a lot of talented people. It's really competitive, so it's going to push you. Really easy to find other musicians to play with, but I was kind of like struggling just to pay my rent. It's hard to like go to a show when like you're barely affording your electricity bill.
Right. Right. Wow.
But that's great. If I was rich, I'd live there.
Really?
Yeah, I love New York.
I've not gone to New York yet. I need to.
Ever?
No.
No, you gotta go.
I've been to San Diego, but I haven't been to New York.
Did you go to the Cat's-Walk?
No, I went to the zoo.
Oh, the San Diego Zoo. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I used to live like I could ride my bike from where I used to live to the zoo. So after college, I like moved down to San Diego proper.
So you've been here for 5 years, Nashville?
Yeah.
Have you moved around a lot in Nashville?
No, not really. When I first moved here, I got a place in East Nashville, and then I moved to what's that area of town called?
Germantown?
No, not Germantown. Kind of where by Grimey's used to be the old Grimey's.
Oh, 8th Avenue?
Yeah, I moved down there near Melrose. Yeah,
Melrose.
like near Melrose.
Yeah.
And I lived there for a year and then moved back to East Nashville.
How have you liked living here?
It's cool. I feel like there's a lot of musicians to play music with, so that's good.
And your band Tape Deck Mountain, are those musicians from Nashville, or did you bring them from
No, so I didn't know if I was still going to do Tape Deck Mountain when I moved here, but I knew I still wanted to play music, so I just put like an ad on Craigslist, and the first person to respond is a guy named Andy Gregg, and he had moved here from Seattle I think he's been here for like about 10 years.
Okay.
He lived in Seattle and then moved here for work. And then the bass player's from Nashville, Sully, but he recently moved to Florida during the pandemic. And then the other guitar player, Greg, is from Louisiana. What's that? Baton Rouge. He's from Baton Rouge, but he's been in Nashville for like 10 years.
Okay. Where's your favorite place to play in Nashville?
My favorite place to play. Kind of like the Cobra.
Yeah, I do too.
I also like Springwater. I think that's
okay.
some sentimental
hole in the
value.
walls. Yeah.
Well, because Springwater was the first place I ever went to in Nashville. I was like touring with a band before Tape Deck Mountain, and we played Springwater.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a long time ago, and it was cool. Like we walked around the Parthenon, and there was some kid like playing acoustic guitar, singing Neutral Milk Hotel songs, and we started like singing with him. Hey, like, and then we went to Springwater, and they like gave us a bucket of beer. That was our payment, and then we like stayed at some random band's house. And,
nice.
Yeah.
Road life.
Yeah, road life.
When was that? Like 10 years ago, or?
That was probably like 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been doing Tape Deck Mountain for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the people that you stayed at here in Nashville, do you still keep over?
I don't know their names or anything.
Just some random.
I just remember it was like a 5-piece band, and they kind of sounded like math rocky, but then the singer was kind of like kind of like rock and roll. And I remember them talking about they really liked the Afghan Wigs, which was a cool band. But then I remember just staying at their house and just drinking a bunch of beer. Yeah, I wish I would know what band it was, because I thought they were cool. I just you were on tour, like meeting a new band every week, so I didn't like keep a journal or diary or anything.
Right. That's awesome though. Exposure.
Yeah, I wish I could meet them again.
Maybe you can like Google like that show. Maybe they have a poster of it. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Who knows? Maybe it's on Facebook somewhere.
Well, this was when Myspace was going on. We like
2007, 2006.
I think it was like 2006 or 5, and we like booked the whole tour through Myspace.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was interesting.
Does MySpace still exist?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't really keep tabs on it.
I had a MySpace at one point.
Sort of like that ex-girlfriend you don't want to hear from.
Right.
Yeah, you don't really check up on her. You just
kind of like let that fizzle out, that profile.
Yeah, like I don't want to look at those
and...
pictures in MySpace anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to that.
Yeah.
How have you found other musicians here other than Craigslist? What is your main, or before pre-COVID? I remember I would see you out at a lot of shows.
Yeah, well, you were just like a show person.
Yeah.
So, initially I just met Andy through Craigslist, the drummer, and then it was just like, he's like, I got this friend that plays bass here, and then he played bass on our last album, and then he had a friend, and he's like, hey, I think we need another guitar player, and then he had a friend, so it was just like one person through Craigslist and then their circle of friends. But outside of that, I've made most of my friends through like show people. Like I just kept on seeing you at shows. Yeah. So I was like, oh, hey, you want to be friends?
Yeah, and here we are.
Yeah, and so I guess, John Condit is a close friend of mine from, formerly the Inscape. I think he calls it Con Jondit now. But I just kept seeing him at shows, so we became friends, show people.
Nice. Yeah. I'll have to get him on the show.
Yeah, he's probably got a lot to say.
Yeah. I can't remember, you didn't play at Speedfest, right?
Played at the second Speedfest.
Okay. I remember.
Speedfest 2.
Okay. When was that, like 3 years ago? 2 years ago? I can't remember what Speedfest
3 or 4 years ago.
Were you on Speedfest 5?
I don't know. I don't keep track.
The last one?
I think they've done 4 or 5. I'm not sure.
Okay. So Tape Deck Mountain, you'd say, is like post-rock, shoegaze?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on the, like the reference, your reference. Like if I'm talking to like my dad, or like my dad's friends, and they ask what your band sounds like, I'm not going to say shoegaze. I'll just say like, it sounds like, Pink Floyd and Nirvana were jamming.
Yeah.
But if someone like kind of knows a lot about music, I'll just tell them, kind of like heavy shoegaze.
Okay.
Yeah.
What inspired that? Like My Bloody Valentine and...
Well, so, I was really into, like, that kind of guitar playing and vocals. I was really into, like, Smashing Pumpkins was, like, my favorite band when I was first learning guitar. So, I just remember, like, Billy Corgan saying that he liked My Bloody Valentine Loveless, like, in interviews. Yeah. So I kind of, like, would, like, back search bands to get into. Like I was really into like Radiohead and Smashing Pumpkins in high school, and then this band called Spiritualized opened up for Radiohead, so I got really into them, and then I would just like read interviews from those bands, and so they were influenced by more like shoegazy type bands. So I was always kind of into like guitar pedals and guitars. So yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to your album earlier. It came out in 2018.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
what is
February.
That? What is that one called?
Echo Chamber Blues.
Yeah, I was listening to that, Morse Code, and some of the other songs. Elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I saw y'all play at.
Fond Object.
Well, that was the first time I ever
Yeah.
saw y'all. That was really cool. That was in that small room.
Yeah, that was funny because you just like came. I was like, "Who are you?" And like I just read about it and came. And like, cool, my kind of person.
Yeah, someone was like, "Yeah, check out Fond Object," and then I like read about who was playing, and I was like, "You take that mountain this band called
Reptoid,
and then a band called I can't remember.
Americas or
yeah,
America.
the Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend was like the drummer in that band. It was really cool. Casey Deeds, I think is his name. Yeah, and he was like, they're playing with this other band, Tape Deck. I'm like, go check it out.
Did your friend even go?
No. He's like, you gotta go. I can't go. So I was like, all right, I'll go. And that was the first and last time I ever went to Fond Object.
Oh yeah, I think that was one of the last shows.
Because it's no longer there.
Yeah, nothing's there.
They just demolished the building?
I mean, I don't know the backstory behind it. Maybe you can get the developer on your next podcast.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I don't know. That place was cool.
Where else have you probably saw us play at like the 5 Spot?
Dark Matter.
Oh, Dark Matter,
I
yeah.
remember that show. That was a really good show. I was like, man, when you open your eyes and look into the crowd, it's like, feel the tension.
Oh.
I was like really into that. I was like, man, you gotta, like, your eye contact is incredible.
Oh, cool.
That's what I noticed when I think that was the last time I saw y'all.
Yeah, it took me a while to start opening my eyes when I sing, but it's something I try to make a connection with the audience, because no one wants to just see someone sing with their eyes closed the whole time. It's kind of what everyone else does, so open your eyes and let them know you mean what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fierceness behind your eyes. It's
Yeah.
like, damn,
Yeah,
he's burning a hole through me.
Serious topics.
Yeah. So what is it's 2 guitars, bass, and drums?
Yeah, currently, 2 guitars, bass, and drums.
And you were like, I have these songs already, do y'all want to play them? Or how did it go, like,
when the band first started?
Yeah, or like,
so
when you moved to Nashville and were like talking to the guys on Craigslist and then being like, I have this.
So, there was this bass guy that I met this bass player and this drummer, and we had beers, and then I didn't jam with the drummer. I jammed with the bass player and Andy, the drummer, and we jammed once, and then they were both good, but the bass player just kind of flaked out. I don't remember his name, but he just stopped like returning texts or something. I was like, hey, we're gonna try to jam again, and never. So Andy was like, well, I have Andy has a studio at his house, so I just wrote the songs and then would send them to him, and then we just recorded it in the studio. And then Sully, who's playing bass, just came through like halfway through and kind of played bass to what we already written, and then wrote some new bass stuff. So
Okay.
usually I demo out the songs. Like that album was nothing was rehearsed before we recorded it. But we have a new record coming out in April, and that's about half rehearsed and then half just straight from my demos because COVID hit. So
Right.
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, would you like a LaCroix?
No, that is one of my favorite flavors though. The key lime is pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. That's why I brought it down here.
Should I be asking you questions?
You could if you want. You could if you want.
Well, how long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville since August of 2017.
I moved here after I finished my associate's degree at Chattanooga State.
Okay.
In Chattanooga. And yeah, wanted to get out of Chattanooga. I thought it was getting too small. I knew everyone, or it seemed like I felt like that. And I just didn't feel the drive and the ambition that I felt when I moved to Nashville, where everyone I felt was very like bloodthirsty and serious.
Yeah.
And like when I first moved to Nashville, I was like, I'm a good drummer, blah blah blah. I thought I was, pretty hot shit. And I come here and you get humbled real fast.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, like, this is a serious place, which is awesome. But then you kind of like grow through that, the growing pains of moving here. Yeah, I like how everyone, the ambition, the industry, the kind of creativity that you're surrounded by.
Yeah, it definitely pushes musicians more here. There's definitely like a energy to it, and there's a lot of there's like a competitiveness to Nashville as well, being a musician, which can be a good thing, can also be a bad thing as well, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah, getting discouraged is like the main thing when you get here. It's like, God, everyone is so damn good, and you can't really I feel like in Chattanooga you could be like one of those bands. It's like trying out, but or trying out on stage. It's like their first gig or whatever, and it'll be mediocre. But as opposed to here, when the band is coming out to play their first show, they've rehearsed a lot or tried to and practiced a lot, and so when you see them, you can take them a little bit more seriously, or more seriously, at least in my experience, than I do when I'm not saying that people in Chattanooga or whatever aren't serious, but here it's like there's so much competition. You can fall by the wayside really fast.
Yeah, I feel like when you go to a show in Nashville or New York, like the bands are rehearsed. But when I went to shows in like San Diego, like the opening band, like a lot of times it's just like, oh, we like practice before the show, and like, yeah, we were going to practice, but then Tommy was smoking too much weed and got into finishing Family Guy season 5, and so our drummer quit, and now we have this drum machine. But hey, here's our band,
Right. Yeah, subpar, mediocre, just face palm. You're just like, oh.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, here is very special. We get the advantage of having a lot of competitive people to push you, but then you also have to deal with the crowd, folding their arms and staring at you, and it's the critics or crowds are a little bit more critical here, which is a good thing. I mean, people take it more seriously, because you can play a whole show and some people, I don't know, not as engaged or whatever, and they'll let you know that. I don't know, not by telling
yeah,
you,
it's like you gotta have a light show, you gotta have liquids, fog, you can't just play the music here. In other cities, if you have a light show, people are just blown away, but it's just common Nashville.
Right, and you gotta be it's a show.
Yeah, everyone's got lasers here.
It's a show. Everyone's got to get animated. Jump around a little bit more. Stare into the crowd.
Are you still doing hand lines?
We haven't played in a while.
How did you meet those guys?
So, Kip's the lead singer of Hamlines, and we actually both grew up on the same mountain, Lookout Mountain.
Oh, you grew up on Lookout Mountain?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I'm balling.
Yeah, Lookout, the Georgia side of the mountain.
Oh, okay.
I grew up on Lookout Mountain, and he grew up on the back of the mountain. He's a couple of years older than me, but I knew his one of his younger siblings, Kelly, and because he was friends with my brother Whit. Long story short, I knew that he was in this band called Shark Week. At the time, I was in a band called Yakipo in Chattanooga. This was 2013, 2014. And we played some shows together. We played at the End two other ones. Yeah.
The end in Chattanooga?
No, the end in Nashville.
Oh, you drove up to Nashville?
Yeah, we drove up to Nashville. Both of our bands did. And so I knew him kind of through that. He knew my oldest brother. And so when I moved to Nashville, I ran into him in Chattanooga, and he was like, "Hey man, I live in Nashville now. We should get together and jam or whatever." And so we did. We met over at Diamond Sound Studios.
I've never been there.
Yeah, it's cool. He had him and his band and some other bands had all thrown in and gotten a room together, and so we jammed there at Diamond Sound. So I started playing with them February of 2018, and then we've kind of picked up where last year when we were playing, a guy named Taylor Lawrence. Do you know Taylor?
I think he told me he was in that band.
Hari.
Yeah, Hari.
Yeah, he's been playing bass with us he was playing bass with us on the road, and then our guitarist Paul Packett we met a year ago or so, a year and a half ago. He's from Maryland and moved down to play music here in Nashville, but he started off playing with his country band and playing in Canada. Like as soon as he got to Nashville, started rehearsing with them, and then they went to Canada to play shows. He would come in and jam with us when he was back from the road, and then after a while he just kind of, he's part of the band. But we haven't played together in just a couple months. I've just been practicing a lot here, preparing for the day that I can play on the bandstand again, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we played that show at the 5 Spot, those live streaming shows.
Yeah, how was that?
That went pretty good. So the bass player, Sully, moved to Florida. He drove up on Friday, so we rehearsed Friday night, Saturday, because we hadn't played in a year maybe,
Yeah.
6 months or some, 8, I don't know, I'm not keeping track of it anymore, but so everyone got tested for COVID before we rehearsed, and then we rehearsed, and then we played the show. That was good. It felt good to play again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was I'm guessing it was just people that worked at the 5 Spot that were there?
Yeah, they have a streaming shows with it's pretty pro. They have 4 cameras, and then they give you a recording of the show after, and all the cameras. We got a recording, and we're mixing it right now, and then gonna put it on YouTube eventually. But
awesome.
The people that paid to see the show got to see it,
right,
live.
Oh yeah. How long did y'all play for?
About 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there another band behind y'all or something?
No, they're just limiting it. So I think the max people you can actually have in the band is 5 people, just for the safety precautions.
Oh yeah.
So everyone was masked up, and so yeah, they're not doing multi-band bills. So that was kind of nice that you got a long sound check and didn't have to tear down when you're done. And
yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
Did you have to wear a mask while you sang?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, singing through a mask, I'm sure that's hard. What are your, do you have any plans for post-pandemic music? Or are you focusing on online now, or?
I mean, I guess once the pandemic passes, we'll assume, we'll go from there. So we have an album coming out.
Okay, what's it called? Sorry.
Yeah, come on, you gotta step up your game here with this podcast, bro. The album's called True Deceiver.
True Deceiver. Okay,
so,
cool.
It was halfway recorded before the pandemic, and the rest was recorded after. It's coming out April 23rd on vinyl, CD, and digital streaming. So, I'm constantly writing songs, so just working on the next batch of songs for another EP or LP, but a lot of focus right now is just promoting the album, kind of setting things up. I just turned in all the artwork and everything.
Okay, sick.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Tape Deck is basically your baby. You've had it for 10 years. You brought it to Nashville.
Yeah.
You showed the guys. They kind of joined your vision.
Yeah.
I would say like you're the leading force in the band.
Yeah, I do invite other people. I think one song was two of the songs. The chord progressions were written by like the guitar and bass player, so it was definitely a little more collaborative this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you first like moved here, were you like, here are the songs I've already written, we can learn them together as a band, then we can start writing new songs, or how did that go?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, kind of defined as my band, but yeah, I'll present a song, either like just play it in front of everyone, or present or make a demo. It's not the same every time. Other members are invited to write songs as well, as long as they fit the style. Like the first drummer, Paul, in San Diego, wrote a song on the first album, and actually a song on the second album too that he didn't even play on. I just like asked him like, hey, remember that song you wrote that we played live a couple times? I think we're gonna play on an album. He's like, okay, cool, yeah. I was like, so I just registered it under his name once we were done, once it came out on the record. But yeah, anybody's welcome to assist on the songwriting.
Okay. Like I saw some of your albums on Spotify. What albums did you record here, or like were the people that I've seen you play with, were they on the past? So you came here in 2015, right? Or just,
yeah.
Okay.
So the first album, Ghosts, was recorded in San Diego, and then the second album, Sway, was recorded in Austin and San Diego, and then it came out when I moved to New York, so I had people playing with me then in New York that didn't play on the record. The third album, Echo Chamber Blues, was recorded here with the people I'm playing with now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
By the way, I like your American flag hat.
Oh, thanks. It's not a good podcast compliment, though.
Why?
Because no one can see it.
Yeah, well, we'll get a picture of
this. Have I told you the story behind this hat?
No, tell me.
We had played at a venue in Brooklyn called Baby's All Right. It was actually their first show. So we played there, and I left my amp there just because it's like a pain in the ass to like pick stuff up in New York, because parking, traffic, subway. So I went to pick up my amp, and then I found it was Cinco de Mayo actually. I found this hat on the ground on Cinco de Mayo and picked it up and put it on.
Oh yeah. And this is in New York?
Yeah, this is in Brooklyn.
How long ago was that?
I don't know. 2013 or 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you on tour then, or you were just living?
We just played a show, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just played a show.
I like how it has the whole country.
Yeah, on the bill. Yeah.
Don't worry, y'all get to see it. I'll put a picture up or something. So, since you live here in East Nashville, I always feel it's a very young community here. Like, I'd say most people are under the age of 50,
mm-hmm.
and young families and young creative people. I mean, back home where I'm from, I would kind of consider this the North Chattanooga of Nashville.
Oh yeah.
What drew you to East Nashville as opposed to everywhere else? I
have a friend that was living here before me, and a friend from Escondido, photographer Joseph Yanes. I messaged him before I moved here. I was like, hey, where should I live? And he said, check out East Nashville or Germantown. So I just found a place in East Nashville, and then and it's close to most of the venues that I play at. So yeah, makes sense.
Walk around here.
Yeah, I like riding my bike through Shelby Park. The Shelby Park is a beautiful park. Disc golf, ride bike, and walk, get a sandwich at Duke's or wherever, coffee shops.
Nice.
Yeah, lots of options.
And we got Cornelia Air Park.
That's right. Yeah.
That's now attached to Shelby Bottoms.
Yeah, that's crazy. Before the pandemic, I would go there and nobody was there, and then once the pandemic hit, boom, popping off.
Yeah, you got hordes of people walking around it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the person that discovered the band first, and then everyone else started listening
to
them.
Exactly.
I was here first, man.
No, Ted coming.
I was listening to Radiohead before you.
Right.
But I mean, it's cool to see other people, and yeah, it's not as lonely there anymore.
Yeah. someone to talk to. Yeah, I remember the first time I went there. It was like partly cloudy, and I was like the only person there. And I went to the like pull-up bars or the workout area, and I was like doing pull-ups or whatever. And this pig comes up.
Oh,
and,
that
like,
pig! Yeah, I've seen that pig a couple times.
and like was like nibbling on my knee. I was like, what the hell? And I looked down at this pig, and I'm like, where'd it come from? And this guy comes running over. He's my friend. His name's Craig. But like at the time, I was like, what the hell? Like,
was that his pig?
Yeah, and it was his pig. He's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm like, it's like nibbling on my knee. And it didn't really hurt. It just kind of scared me or whatever. But yeah, I was like, wow. And that was my first time ever being there. I was just like, I just thought random pigs would be there. Like, would roam around.
You've seen? I don't think this guy is there anymore. But there used to be a guy on. You usually see him on Sundays, and he'd be rollerblading and reading a book at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen him there in a long time. I think he probably got fed up with the crowds, because this is like pre-pandemic. But yeah, there used to be a guy that was like, he didn't have a shirt on. He'd just be wearing like short shorts, rollerblades, and then reading a book at the same time.
Would it be like some self-help book or like?
He was going so fast, I never got to see what the cover was.
Wow, that's hilarious. Reading a book, that's a phenomenon. Being able to rollerblade and read at the same time.
Yeah, because, man, I usually rollerblade there when the weather's nice. But one time after rollerblading for a while, I tripped and like really skimmed up my knee. And I was wearing pads too, so I kind of had to stop for a couple months. But I'll be back once the weather's nice again. But
yeah, rollerblading is coming back right now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of people rollerblade that I was like, is it the 90s again?
Yeah, it's a good way to exercise and have fun at the same time. Like running is kind of boring, but if you're rollerblading, it's like an adventure.
It is an adventure. But I feel like I'm in some sort of action video game.
You got blades?
No, but like when I had rollerblade in the past, or you've been to like those skating rinks?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, those are good. I used to go to that one in Madison before the pandemic. Yeah.
What is it called?
I don't know, roller skate rink.
Wow.
They have like adult night on Tuesday and Sunday, and there'd be like people that had like dances they organize and stuff. Like they have like dance moves and they all did them at the same time.
Sick.
Yeah, you're missing out. Well, we're all missing out now.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't exist right now.
I don't know. I mean, some people are more comfortable in an enclosed space, but I wouldn't be, dancing on roller skates with 50 other people right now.
Right? Reminds me of Boogie Nights or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've seen Boogie Nights, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like
It's about Studio 54, right?
It's about like the porn industry in the 1970s.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. It's the director.
Oh, okay. And then Mark Wahlberg's in it.
Yeah, Marky Mark and
Dustin.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
He's in that. He's hilarious in that. And Burt Reynolds is in it.
Okay.
And Julianne Moore. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Have you memorized the Wikipedia or something?
I've just seen it a lot. I remember seeing that a lot, but like 10 years ago. It was like I went through a movies phase, just watching tons and tons of movies.
Okay.
And I was
Nice.
really into PTA and Wes Anderson.
Oh, yeah. What's your favorite Wes Anderson film?
His first one, Bottle Rocket.
You like Bottle Rocket?
I love Bottle Rocket. It's hilarious, dude. It's like, Bob stole his car.
I mean, I've seen that one a couple times, but that one's different because it doesn't have like the same I feel like the other ones are kind of like you can tell it's a Wes Anderson movie,
Right,
but
the
Bottle Rocket's like
cinematography.
yeah, Bottle Rocket has like the least like Wes Anderson moves in it.
Right, which I just think it's hilarious. That's Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson's first movie.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. Dignan, Owen Wilson's character is great. He's like, you bribed the manager? Smart. And he's sneaking out of the window in the beginning of the movie.
I just remember there's like a pool at a hotel or something.
Yeah.
And, like the maid or something
Yeah, the maid.
she started having an affair with.
Or she
I don't know.
starts
those
dating
jokes.
or whatever Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
Her name's Inez.
How often did they ever shoot a bottle rocket?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Owen Wilson's standing out in the field by himself, shooting like a Roman candle and shooting bottle rockets off. And Luke Wilson and Naz come over to him and like, come on, Dayton, let's go to the bar or whatever. And Owen Wilson's just shooting fireworks by himself at the ground, and he lights a sparkler and like gives it to a Naz.
There we go.
It's hilarious. It's my favorite. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Did you ask all your questions?
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess just like tell people to.
Yeah, what are your handles? How do they follow you? How do they listen to you?
I mean, if you Google Tape Deck Mountain, it will come up. But I mean, the best way to support musicians is probably through Bandcamp, because that goes directly through them. So that's like tapedeckmountain.bandcamp.com. Our new album's coming out April 23rd. You should be able to pre-order that in a week. I don't know when you're releasing this podcast. In middle February, it will be pre-release will come out. So, but also following us on Spotify, that helps with the algorithm, and following on Instagram, Tape Deck Mountain, and Twitter, Tape Deck MT. And then also I do a show on WXNA. I'm going to start that up again Wednesdays from 10 to 11 p.m.
What's that? WXNA?
WXNA. It's a community-run station here at 101.5.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not Lightning 100, right?
No.
Oh, okay. 101.
Lightning 100 kind of plays like the AAA format, but like college radio. But WXNA is just like everyone gets to curate their own show. There's like a metal show, there's like a reggae show, like a poetry show, someone that like interviews local community members, just all over the map.
What are you doing on it?
My show is called I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, and it used to feature basically shows going on in the Nashville area, but since that has kind of, ceased to exist, I'm gonna highlight like local releases and just like other sort of like 90s influence indie rock that I've been listening to.
Awesome. What 90s rock are you listening to right now?
Well, I'm always listening to like Smashing Pumpkins and Radiohead, like the obvious ones.
They're listening to like any Alice in Chains or?
I've been getting to a really big like Alice in Chains because that guy's voice is just so
amazing.
Yeah.
I know. I just recently, this past year, I like recently got into Alice in Chains. Good God,
his voice is just like incredible. Like, so yeah, I do like Alice in Chains a lot.
I like dismissed them for so long. Just like I don't know. I was so into Tool and all that, and I was just like, they're not as progressive, blah, blah, blah. And then I started listening to him, and I was like, his voice, though, is like so incredible. Like, he has so much intention behind what he's saying.
Yeah, and the tone and everything of his voice, like his range is like, he's like singing really low, and then he sings like really high.
Yeah, diversity. Yeah, as opposed to Radiohead, where it's like Tom York is mostly singing falsetto.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some beef to his voice, Alice in Chains, but...
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, this is actually Headbangers Ball from the 90s. All right. Well, it was great having you on the show, Travis.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We'll maybe report back in a couple months.
Okay, yeah.